Hello, hello. Welcome to another end of the year best of wrap up 2022 videos. And today we are talking eyeshadow palettes, one of my very favorite makeup categories. I purchased 7 new eyeshadow palettes this year, and interestingly enough, it wound up to be a perfect 50-50 blend, very affordable to a little bit more high-end. Now, I absolutely enjoyed every single one of these eyeshadow palettes this year. There are no duds, but I am going to do the best I can to rank them mini review style. As always, I will include timestamps, product links, discount codes, lots and lots of information in the description box below, as usual. Anyway, if this sounds fun to you, throw this video a thumbs up and let's do it. Starting at the bottom in the number 7 position, and I hate to even say bottom because this little luxury quad really brought me joy this year, and it is the Giraffe Quad from Chantecaille, originally retailed for $75, pretty steep for 4 little eyeshadow pans. But I fell absolutely in love with it when I visited my friend Kiki last year and I had a chance to play with it. So I waited for a really good sale and I picked it up at a really great discount. Now, it's too reflective to show you the pans, but I am going to finger swatch. This has this really beautiful light brown matte, more of a medium chocolate brown matte with a little bit of sheen, and 2 absolutely gorgeous shimmers. Light brown matte, chocolate brown with a little satin, 2 gorgeous shimmers. I'm not going to swatch every single palette we're talking about today, but I did want to show you how beautiful these are. These have a wonderful formula, and the thing about this eyeshadow palette is it is just an easy, everyday, but elevated, elegant look. And I absolutely love the packaging. Extremely sturdy, beautifully elegant. This little giraffe completely stole my heart. Look how well he matches my sweater. This is not the eyeshadow I'm wearing today, by the way, but I probably could have. Anyway, this was limited edition. It is no longer available. I am super happy I picked it up. I've gotten a lot of use out of it. It has truly brought me joy. The only reason I ranked it lower on the scale is the very steep price point. Coming in at number 6 is a much more affordable and more colorful palette, and it is the ColourPop All Amethyst. Now, I do think ColourPop has some of the best affordable formulas out there, and I picked this one up last spring. I was so inspired by all the pastel eyeshadow looks I was seeing. At first glance, it looks like it might be a little too colorful for my neutral loving taste, but I really did get a lot of use out of this last spring. It has some nice taupey matte gray, a nice matte pink, so some beautiful, beautiful mattes to deepen up the look. But for me, the stars of the show, my most used colors were these 3 gorgeous shimmers. You can create the prettiest look with these 3 shimmers. I really did get a lot of use out of it last spring. I really haven't used it since, so I think it's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. The only reason it is ranking a little bit lower is because to me this is a spring palette and it is just not a palette that I would use year round. But I know, for instance, Mrs. Melissa M really loves this palette. She uses it all the time. Anyway, coming in at number 6, I really did enjoy the ColourPop All Amethyst. In the number 5 position, we have Best Dupe. Alter Ego is a brand that is very well known for duping high-end luxury lines such as Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath. So I was super excited when they sent me a couple of palettes in PR to test out. They sent me the Harmony palette, which is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Retro. I did a whole video on that a couple of weeks ago. They also sent me the Shadow Kiss palette, which is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Glam. Here is the Shadow Kiss on the bottom and the Natasha Denona Glam on the top. Now they are organized a little bit different, but shade for shade, they are so, so similar, if not identical. Now, I will say the formulas are not identical. The Alter Ego Shadow Kiss does require a little bit of building up to match the intensity of the Natasha Denona Glam, but once it's on the eyes, it's very difficult to tell. In fact, today I am wearing Natasha Denona Glam on one eye, Shadow Kiss on the other, so I want you to take a close look and see if you can tell the difference, and let me know in the comment section which eye you think is wearing which palette. To be clear, I am not saying they are exact dupes. I definitely had to work a little bit harder with the Alter Ego. You know, the Natasha Denona formula is impeccable. Having said that, $69 versus $17, yes please. And I do have a 10% discount code in the description box, making it even more affordable. So if you have a luxury palette that you don't want to spend the money on, check out Alter Ego. They have quite a few dupe palettes. In the number 4 position is the most affordable eyeshadow palette. Not only is it super, super affordable, $8 for 16 shades, but the quality is so, so good. And it is the Wet n Wild Always Naked. I will say, the worst thing about this, the packaging is so flimsy. It fell apart almost immediately after I purchased it. But what I do love about it is this incredibly neutral color story. Not too cool, not too warm, beautiful mix of mattes and shimmers, beautiful mix of tones, light, medium, and deep. You know, I did a whole video where I showed an eyeshadow look with this. It's so easy to work with. And I'm just going to do some finger swatches of a couple of these shades. There are some mattes. Do you hear the snowmobile going by? And let me wipe my fingers off and I'll swatch a couple of these really pretty satiny shimmers that are so, so pretty on mature eyes. Anyway, I do have a whole video where I demonstrated and created a really pretty look with this. I absolutely love it. $8, 16 shades, incredible quality, terrible packaging. Number 4, Wet n Wild Always Naked. Now we're getting to the top 3. Another new to me brand that I tried for the first time this year is Sigma. Sigma is cruelty-free, female-owned, and they have a special place in my heart because they are headquartered here in my hometown of Minneapolis. Anyway, last spring during one of the Sigma sales, I do have a lot of sales, I picked up the Sigma New Mod eyeshadow palette, and I fell instantly in love with this eyeshadow palette. It does come with one of their famous dual-ended brushes. They're actually known for their brushes. But I just, oh my gosh, look how reflective that is. I am sorry for that. I don't know, is it better if I hold it back here? Let me turn that light down. Okay, that's a little bit better. I love this color story. It's pinks and plums and mauves and taupes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I do have a dedicated video where I did a really pretty look with this eyeshadow palette. The formula is fabulous. I absolutely love Sigma, so I was super, super excited when they put me on their PR list and they started sending me some PR. I do want to call out, they have beautiful mini palettes. I love this little Sigma Warm Neutral palette. Anyway, new to me brand that I discovered this year, Sigma. They do have frequent sales and I do have a discount code, and very often during their sales they will allow us to stack our discount codes on top of the sale price, which is pretty rare. Anyway, in the number 3 position, Sigma New Mod eyeshadow palette. Absolutely love it. Coming in at number 2 is the Natasha Denona Retro palette. Now this palette was not released in 2022. Once again, I was late to the game because I had this palette in and out of my cart for at least a year. You know, I knew I loved the Natasha Denona formula. I loved my glam. I loved my mini glam. but for some reason, this color story really intimidated me. In spite of the fact I love pinks and taupes and plums and mauves, some of these very intense berry shades just scared me. But last winter when I was visiting Kiki, I had a chance to play with it. I fell in love, so I finally picked it up during the Sephora sale last spring, and I'm so glad I did. It is a beautiful palette. I have created gorgeous looks. I do have a couple of videos using this palette, and I have to say it is a perfect companion palette to the Natasha Denona Glam. I very often use these palettes together. In fact, when I purchased the Glam, I said I really wish they had some pinks and plums and berries. Anyway, I love these two palettes together. Now these are my only two Natasha Denona mid-size palette. The Retro Glam that she came out with a couple of months ago, the color story just didn't really speak to me, and her My Dream palette seemed a little bit on the warm side to me. I might give those color stories a try if Alter Ego dupes them. Number 2 position, Natasha Denona Retro. I'm a little bit late to the game on this one. I am so glad I finally picked it up. It is a gorgeous palette, and I absolutely love it. And now for my number 1 most favorite eyeshadow palette that I purchased in 2022. You know, at the beginning of the video, I said I enjoyed all the palettes, there were no duds, and I really did have to put some thought into how I was ranking these. Except this one, I knew it had to be number 1 because it filled a gap in my eyeshadow collection. You know, as much as I love greenish eyeshadows, I had a big green hole in my eyeshadow collection. The second I saw the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau eyeshadow palette, I knew it had my name on it. It is a fairly neutral color story with some beautiful murky greens, khakis, and bronzes. This color story just really spoke to me. You know, I was a little worried at first it would be a little bit too warm for my preference, but this sort of peachy chocolate brown is a great transition shade. It has a nice cream shade. This khaki green matte is gorgeous, but the stars of the show are the shimmers, in particular the green shimmers. So I'm going to do green, khaki matte green, and this mint green. I am going to swatch these for you because I love the greens. I do have a video where I demonstrated a really pretty green look, shimmer, khaki, shimmer. But it's not just a green eyeshadow palette. There is this gorgeous pink shimmer, a bronze shimmer, a gold shimmer. Look at how pretty those are. You can just get so many looks out of this eyeshadow palette. Definitely my number 1 most favorite palette of 2022, ABH Nouveau. Love, love, love it. I am sure you're noticing a change in the lighting. I had to take a little break, move my car for the snowplow, and do some shoveling. We got 7 inches of snow yesterday, another 7 today, and counting. So I'm pretty sure I have hat hair, but I wanted to come on here and do a quick outro. It was a very good year for eyeshadow palettes. I used and enjoyed every single one of the 7 palettes that I purchased in 2022. But I wanted to say a huge thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I really, really appreciate your time. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful week, and I hope to see you in my next one. Thank you. Bye.